Who would the American Express Gold credit card be perfect for? How do I get the maximum possible value out of it, or am I actually better off with one of its competitors, especially given the changes that affected the credit card in the past year or so? These are the questions that I've been asking myself lately as I'm approaching my second year anniversary with this card, and today we're gonna answer them as part of this in-depth review. But first of all, what is even so special about the Amex Gold that is like the third video on the channel that I'm dedicating to it? Well, when it comes to credit cards in the UK, they're either free and then come with a limited or slightly unexciting set of benefits, or they can offer some pretty cool perks, but at the same time they come with fees, sometimes substantial ones. The Amex Gold, however, is a sort of unique blend here, where it's completely free in the first year, and at the same time the benefits it provides are more similar to those from more expensive sort of grown-up credit cards. On top of that, I believe that if the card fits your spending profile, it can save you more money than any other credit card available in the UK. And we are going to talk about that in more detail, but first let's go over the benefits that this credit card provides for absolutely free in the first year and see how much they may be worth. We will start with a lifestyle benefit that you can use regardless of whether or not you're a frequent traveler or a traveler at all. And that is the Deliveroo cashback. Basically, you can get £5 cashback from Deliveroo purchases up to twice a month. That works out to £120 of cashback a year, assuming that you order with Deliveroo at least twice a month and each order is at least £5. Personally, even before I got the Gold card, we would order with Deliveroo at least twice a month between me and my partner. So in our case, this genuinely represents £120 worth of savings. And to use this, you just need to activate the corresponding offer in your Amex app or on the Amex website. And then whenever you shop with Deliveroo, just make sure to use your Amex Gold card for payment, and then the cashback will be applied automatically within a few working days. Apart from savings on food delivery, the card comes with a few travel benefits. Firstly, within a few weeks of signing up, you'll receive a priority pass card in the mail, and that comes with 4 complimentary lounge passes every year. It's kind of up to you when it comes to how much you want to value these complimentary lounge passes at, but personally, I tend to base this on how much I would have spent on airport food and drink otherwise, rather than on the ridiculous prices that the lounges would charge you for access at the door if you didn't have a complimentary membership. So for the sake of this video, let's say the value of one lounge entry would be £15, and in that case, in total, this benefit would be worth £60 every year, assuming you use all 4 complimentary lounge passes. And by the way, you can take one guest with you whenever you go into the lounge, but that will count as using 2 lounge passes. In addition to lounge access, the card gives you a travel accident and inconvenience insurance. Please bear in mind that this is not a comprehensive travel insurance. Instead, it just covers you for some basic travel expenses that you may incur as a result of delays, flight cancellations, lost luggage, and so on, and then some medical accidents, but only very severe ones such as death. However, it will not cover more routine cases where you still may need medical attention. For that reason, I'm not going to assign any value to this. It is nice to have it, but again, it's not a comprehensive product. Finally, in terms of travel benefits, the Gold card gives you access to the hotel collection. It's basically a collection of 700 plus hotels across the world where you will get, firstly, a complimentary upgrade of your room to the next category subject to availability, and then $100 credit to spend on hotel services such as the hotel restaurant or the spa. To be eligible, you have to book this hotel through Amex Travel, you have to pay using your Amex Gold card, and then you have to stay for at least 2 nights. Personally, I haven't had the chance to stay at a hotel collection property yet, but looking at the availability in different regions, for instance, we can see that in Europe, most eligible hotels are located in England, France, Italy, and Spain. However, there are at least a few eligible properties in many other countries, and then there are similar lists for other parts of the world. So how much is this perk worth? Well, in theory, it could save you $100 or 80 British pounds on every hotel stay, but in practice, it's pretty hard to tell. And the reason why is that these hotels that are part of the collection are already quite upscale, which means staying in them in the first place will be a little bit more expensive. So it really depends on whether or not you would stay at properties like that, even if you didn't have the Gold card. Again, I'm not going to assign any monetary value to this perk, because depending on your needs and spending profile, it could either be completely useless to you, or it could save you hundreds of pounds or even thousands of pounds every year. And speaking of needs and spending profiles, at the beginning of the video, I said that for the right person, this card could generate more savings than any other credit card in the UK, and I think now it's time to get into the details of that. So far, the benefits that we covered all have mostly fixed value. The Deliveroo credits will not save you more than £120 a year. The lounge access is realistically worth not more than £80, maybe £100 a year, assuming that you use all the 4 passes. And while these two together can already be worth around £200, which is pretty impressive for a card that's free in the first year, I do think that there is a lot more value to be had from the Amex Gold. And that is through the American Express membership reward points that this card earns more generously than any other credit card in the UK. So let's see how many points exactly it could generate under different circumstances and how much real savings these points could translate into. Just a quick background that the American Express membership reward points is a very flexible rewards currency. Once you earn these points, they can then be converted into cashback, gift cards, Nectar points, Avios, or transferred into a bunch of other airline and hotel programs. So the Amex Gold has multiple ways to earn your membership reward points. The very first one is through a welcome bonus. The standard offer on this card is that if you spend £3,000 in your first 3 months with the card, you may be eligible for a 20,000 membership reward points welcome bonus. This can get even higher whenever Amex runs one of their special promotions, but another easy way to get a higher welcome bonus without waiting for a promotion is by being referred to the card by an existing American Express customer. That way, currently, your welcome bonus can go up to 30,000 membership reward points instead of 20,000. Before we look at how much money these 30,000 membership reward points are really worth, I just want to stress that the main point of all of these reward programs that come with credit cards should be to save you money. So do make sure that you never spend on a credit card more than you can afford to pay back. Ideally, credit cards should always be used the same way as debit cards, where you spend whatever you plan to spend within the month, and then at the end of the month, you fully pay your credit card off, and that way you never have to pay any interest. But anyway, going back to the topic, how much can you save using the 30,000 membership reward points that you could potentially get as a welcome bonus from Amex? Well, that is the interesting part, because that depends on how exactly you spend your points, and that will determine how valuable overall the Amex Gold card turns out to be. The safest and easiest way to use membership rewards is by essentially converting them into cash in the form of gift cards from many various retailers and businesses such as Amazon, Airbnb, Marks & Spencer, and many more. This way you get exactly £5 of value out of every 1,000 membership reward points, which means that a 30,000 membership reward point welcome bonus is going to be worth £150 in cash. And going forward, we'll refer to this as conservative value because this kind of amount of savings you are guaranteed to be able to get out of your points, whereas the stuff that we're going to talk about next is a little bit more speculative. In the past, you also used to be able to transfer your membership reward points into Nectar points and then get a higher cash value out of them when you spend them with Sainsbury's, Argos, eBay, and some other Nectar partners. But as of recently, you can still do that by all means, but the conversion rate has been devalued and now it has the exactly same value of £5 per every 1,000 membership reward points. A much more profitable way to use your membership reward points could be on travel. For example, if you convert your membership reward points into Avios and then use them even to buy economy class tickets with British Airways, you can get £10 or more of value out of every 1,000 membership reward points, especially when the cash prices for the same tickets are high. So this way, if we assume a redemption rate of £10 per every 1,000 membership reward points, the potential welcome bonus of 30,000 points is worth £300. And this we're going to refer to as standard value as opposed to conservative. And finally, I'm going to introduce something I'm going to call an optimistic valuation, and that is if you spend your points on travel, but not just on travel, but on luxury travel, such as booking flights in premium cabins or booking expensive hotels, then you can get a much higher valuation of up to or even higher than £20 per every 1,000 membership reward points. Please bear in mind, such kind of value out of your points is not guaranteed and is dependent on you being able to find and identify good points redemptions, but it is certainly possible, and I am going to talk more about this later on. But for now, assuming that you do achieve this so-called optimistic valuation of £20 per 1,000 membership reward points, your welcome bonus of 30,000 points could be potentially worth £600. So that was the welcome bonus. On top of the welcome bonus, Amex Gold will give you 1 membership reward point per every pound that you spent on any purchases. However, that doesn't sound that good, does it? That's roughly in line with other free credit cards will give you in terms of rewards. But fortunately, this credit card does come with a few extra blows and whistles that will allow you to boost your membership reward points earnings. The first one among these is called Rewards As You Go. And basically, for every £5,000 that you spend on this card within a year, you will get a bonus of 2,500 membership reward points. So in other words, that effectively means that you're earning 1.5 membership reward reward points per every pound spent instead of just 1 point per pound spent. However, you can only get 5 such bonuses in any given year for a total of 12,500 additional membership reward points. And to be fair, majority of people would not exceed this limit anyway. Additionally, you get double points on everything that you spend with airlines directly, such as booking flights. And if we account for the reward as you go bonus as well, that works out to 2.5 membership reward points for every pound that you spend directly on airline websites. Finally, you get triple points on everything that you spend on the Amex Travel website, where you can book flights, hotels, and some other travel services. And again, if we account for the reward as you go bonus, it works out to 3.5 membership reward points for every pound spent on Amex Travel. So if we go back to our valuations, under the conservative route, the earning rate of 1.5 membership reward points per pound is equivalent to getting 0.75% cashback. While this is higher than what you can get from a lot of dedicated cashback credit cards, this rate wouldn't be exactly market leading. Then on airline purchases, given the higher earning rate, it works out to 1.25% cashback. And finally, for Amex Travel purchases, this is equivalent to a cashback rate of 1.75%. And if instead of the conservative valuation, we adopt the so-called standard one, this cashback equivalent figures are going to double, and then under your optimistic valuation, they're going to double again to the point where you could be getting an equivalent of 7% cashback on all the Amex Travel purchases. However, again, this is all dependent on you being able to make the optimistic valuation work, that is, spend your points on travel and get at least 20 pounds of value per every 1,000 membership reward points. This is far from guaranteed, but is very, very doable. And as I said, I am going to point you to a few concrete examples of this a little bit later on. So if we now look at this table, let's actually add on the value of the other benefits as well, not just the membership reward points. We can see that in year one, this card is pretty much a no-brainer because on the one hand, you're not paying any annual fee, and on the other hand, you can get over £300 worth of benefits depending on how much exactly you value your membership reward points at. But the thing is that beyond year one, the majority of people will decide to close this card because they will find it hard to justify the annual fee of £195. That is exactly how much you have to pay for this card starting from year two. So they will find it hard to justify paying £195 in the absence of the welcome bonus. Because if we put the welcome bonus aside, what you are left with is the delivery credits that are worth at most £120, and then there are the lounge passes. So these two together can be worth around £200, which is roughly the amount of annual fee, which means you kind of break out even without any additional profit, and that is sort of the best case scenario. And that is exactly where the whole thing about having the right spending profile for this card comes in. So for someone who is the kind of person who travels at least somewhat frequently, they will benefit from the increased earning rate on airline websites and Amex Travel, and then they are also a lot more likely to achieve a standard or optimistic or even higher valuation on their membership reward points. And that means that depending on how much they spend, this card could save them hundreds of pounds every year on top of the fixed value benefits such as the Deliveroo and the airline lounge access. And if you want a concrete example of what I'm talking about, last year I shared how much exactly I spent on the Amex Gold card in my first year with it, and I also shared the breakdown of how much was it on regular spend versus airline spend versus Amex Travel spend, and finally how many points in total the card earned me. Then to see that, click on the video here. And in addition, if you want to learn about my favorite high value ways to spend Amex membership reward points, again with concrete examples, click on the video here. And in the meantime, thank you very much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.